Have you ever noticed how the moment you stop chasing, he suddenly starts paying attention? How the second you pull away, his interest sparks again? It's almost like the harder you try, the more invisible you become. But when you go silent, when you detach, suddenly he's the one wondering where you went, wondering why you stopped texting, wondering why the energy he once took for granted is no longer his to claim. And that, queens, is the power of detachment. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The nearer a man is to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Let that sink in. When you detach, you gain control. You stop reacting, you stop proving, you stop giving your power away. And in that silence, in that absence, he feels the shift. He starts questioning, doubting, regretting, because nothing is more haunting than a woman who once gave him everything but now gives him nothing. Think of a flame. A fire does not chase. It does not beg the air to keep it alive. It burns, it glows, it demands to be seen. But when the air pulls away, the fire flickers, struggles, fights to stay lit. That is exactly what happens when you remove yourself from his world. He becomes the fire, realizing too late that the warmth he once ignored is slipping away. He will reach, he will try, he will want to pull you back. But by then, the power is already in your hands. You have given enough. You have waited, you have hoped, you have explained yourself 1,000 times. But he did not listen. He did not value what was in front of him. And now, it is time to do something different. To step back, to let go, to let your absence speak louder than your words ever could. Because a man does not cherish what he believes he will never lose. He does not chase what he thinks will always be there. But when you walk away, without anger, without games, without second-guessing, everything changes. And this is where your transformation begins. This is where you stop being the woman who waits by her phone, who overthinks every silence, who wonders if she is enough. You are not just enough. You are everything. You are the prize, not the pursuer. You are the diamond, not the one searching for its worth. And the moment you fully understand that, you will never again settle for being an option in someone else's life. Imagine a crown. A crown does not beg to be worn. It does not lower itself to fit onto a head that is not worthy. It sits high, waiting for the one who can rise to claim it. That is you. A queen does not chase. A queen does not plead. A queen chooses. And right now, the only choice that matters is the one you make for yourself. So stop explaining yourself. Stop proving. Stop pouring your love into hands that do not know how to hold it. Instead, turn that love inward. Reclaim your power. Build a life so beautiful, so powerful, that he has no choice but to wonder. Wonder what happened. Wonder where you went. Wonder why the woman who once gave him everything has now become untouchable. And when that moment comes, when he finally realizes what he lost, he will want to reach for you. He will want to fix what he broke. But by then, you will already be too far ahead, too strong, too fierce, too unshakable. And that is the moment he will truly understand what he let go. Queens, your time is now. The time to rise. The time to reclaim everything you thought you lost. The time to stop chasing and start choosing. Because the greatest power you will ever hold is the power of detachment. Walk away, let go, and let him feel the weight of your absence. Because a woman who detaches is a woman who dominates. And that, my queens, is exactly who you were always meant to be. Queens, if this message awakened something inside you, if it reminded you of the power you've always had but maybe forgot, then take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We pour our hearts into creating content that uplifts you, strengthens you, and reminds you that you were never meant to beg. You were meant to reign. Your support helps us continue this mission, and together we rise, we thrive, and we claim the lives we deserve. Number 1. Your silence will echo, louder than your words. Have you ever begged to be heard, only to be met with silence? Have you ever poured your heart out, hoping he would finally understand, only to feel like you were speaking to a wall? You explain, you ask, you try, again and again, but nothing changes. And then, one day, you stop, you go quiet, you disappear from his world, and suddenly he notices. Suddenly, he's the one wondering, because nothing is more deafening than the silence of a woman who has finally had enough. Seneca once said, "As long as you say nothing, you are in control." That is the power of silence. Words can be ignored, argued with, twisted, but silence is haunting. It lingers. It creates space for regret to creep in. The moment you stop trying to explain, the moment you stop fighting to be understood, is the moment he starts realizing what he took for granted. Think of an echo. When you shout into a canyon, your voice returns to you, strong and clear. But if there is nothing there, no mountains, no walls, your voice disappears into emptiness. That is what happens when you keep explaining your worth to a man who refuses to see it. You're throwing your words into a void, hoping for something to come back. But the moment you go silent, the moment you stop trying, he feels the absence. And that absence speaks louder than anything you could have said. You have spent enough time waiting for him to care, enough nights overthinking, enough days wondering what else you can do to make him see your worth. But Queen, he already knows. He has known all along. He just never thought he would lose you. He thought you would always be there, always waiting, always forgiving. But now the game has changed. Now it's his turn to wonder. Imagine a flame. A fire does not beg the wind to stay. It does not chase after the air that fuels it. It simply burns. And if the wind pulls away, the fire does not beg. It simply finds another way to rise. You are that fire. You do not need to chase, to prove, to plead for a love that should have been given freely. If he did not cherish your presence, let him feel the weight of your absence. And that is where everything shifts. The moment you detach, the moment you stop explaining, stop proving, stop waiting, he will feel it. The silence you leave behind will wrap around him like a shadow he cannot escape. He will check his phone, expecting to see your message, but it won't be there. He will go about his day, expecting to hear from you, but there will be nothing. And in that emptiness, in that void where you used to be, he will finally realize he lost something he can never replace. But by then, it will be too late, because you are no longer the woman who waits. You are no longer the woman who overthinks, who wonders if she is enough. You are more than enough. You are everything. And a woman who knows her worth does not chase. She reigns. Queens, this is your moment. The moment you stop begging for attention that should have been given without question. The moment you walk away with grace, strength, and silence. Let him wonder. Let him feel the emptiness you once filled. Let your absence be the loudest statement you ever make. Because a woman who walks away without a word, she is unforgettable. Write this affirmation in the comments. My silence will say what my words never could. Let it be your power, your strength, your reminder that you are done fighting for a place in his life. And if this message woke something inside you, if it reminded you of the power you have always had, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you life-changing lessons, because you were never meant to beg. You were meant to reign. Number 2. Detachment isn't losing him, it's finding yourself. Have you ever noticed how the more you hold on, the more he slips away? How the more you try to prove your worth, the less he values it. It feels like the tighter you grip, the emptier your hands become. But the second you let go, something shifts. The energy changes. Suddenly he notices. Suddenly he starts wondering, because nothing unsettles a man more than a woman who was once all in, only to decide she no longer is. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that is exactly where your power lies. Not in trying to make him see your worth, not in waiting for his love, not in fighting for his attention. Your power is in detachment, in stepping back, reclaiming your energy, and focusing on yourself. Because detachment isn't about losing him, it's about finding yourself again. Imagine holding a butterfly in your hand. If you squeeze too tightly, it gets crushed. If you chase it, it flies away. But if you let it rest on your palm, if you simply exist in your own presence, it stays. That is the power of detachment. The more you cling, the more you lose. But the moment you release, that is when everything begins to fall into place. You have spent too much time making sure he is happy, too much time worrying about what he thinks, what he wants, what he feels. But what about you? When was the last time you chose yourself over him? When was the last time you stopped wondering if he would text back and started wondering what makes you feel alive? Because queens, this is where the real transformation happens. Not when he comes back, not when he finally sees your worth, but when you see it for yourself. A queen does not wait for validation. She does not beg for attention. She does not prove her worth. She embodies it. And that is exactly what you must do now. Detach. Not as a game, not as a strategy, but because your energy is too precious to be wasted on a man who does not recognize its value. And the second you do, that's when he will feel it. He will wonder why you are no longer reaching out, why your energy has shifted, why the woman who once prioritized him has now prioritized herself. Let him wonder. Let him miss you. Let him realize that your presence was not a given, it was a privilege. And if he does not step up, then he was never worthy of your love in the first place. You are not here to be an option. You are not here to wait in the shadows, hoping he will finally choose you. You are here to reign, to rise, to step into the power that has always been yours. Enough waiting, enough explaining, enough giving pieces of yourself to a man who doesn't even know how to hold them. This is your moment. The moment you stop chasing and start choosing. The moment you stop proving and start embodying. The moment you detach from what was never meant to stay and step into everything that was always meant to be yours. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. Detaching isn't losing. I am finding myself. Let the world know that you are done begging, done proving, done waiting. And if this message reminded you of the power that has always been inside you, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to remind you of your worth, to help you rise, to make sure you never forget that you were never meant to beg. You were meant to reign. Number 3. A queen does not chase. She chooses who stands beside her. Why do the ones who give their all end up feeling the most unwanted? Why does the woman who pours her love, her time, her soul into a man end up being the one questioning everything? You text first. You wait for his replies. You try harder, thinking that if you show him how much you care, he will finally see your worth. But instead, he pulls away. He takes you for granted. And you're left wondering, what else can I do to make him choose me? But here's the truth that will set you free. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to choose. The harder you run after him, the faster he runs in the opposite direction. The more you prove, the less he values. A man doesn't cherish what he believes will always be there. But the moment you stop chasing, the moment you pull back, the moment you refuse to beg, that is when everything changes. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions," and the same is true for you. If your ambition is to be cherished, to be valued, to be respected, then why are you lowering your worth for a man who does not see it? Why are you standing at a door that refuses to open? Love is not a prize you must fight for. The right man will never make you feel like you need to earn his attention. Think of the sun. The sun does not chase the earth. It does not beg to be noticed. It simply shines, and everything revolves around it. It does not dim its light to be seen. It radiates, and the world feels its power. That is exactly how you must be. Stop running after a man who cannot see your glow. Stop proving to someone who should have seen your worth from the start. The moment you step back, the moment you detach, the moment you choose yourself instead of chasing him, that is when he will feel your absence, like a void he can never fill. You are not here to convince a man to love you. You are not here to wait for him to realize your worth. The love you deserve will never require you to prove yourself. It will not make you feel invisible, uncertain, or unwanted. And if he is making you feel that way, then he is not your choice. He is your lesson, a lesson in knowing when to walk away, a lesson in understanding that your love is a gift, not a debt, a lesson in remembering that a queen does not chase, she chooses. And this is where you rise. This is where you stop waiting by the phone. This is where you stop wondering what you did wrong. You did nothing wrong. You simply gave your heart to a man who was never strong enough to hold it, and that is his loss, not yours. Imagine a throne sitting high, untouched, waiting for the one who is worthy. It doesn't move. It doesn't lower itself. It doesn't beg to be claimed. It stands in its power, knowing that only the strongest will rise to meet it. That is you. A throne doesn't chase a king. It waits for the one who is strong enough to sit beside it. And if no one rises to meet your worth, then you stand alone in your power, unshaken, untouchable. Queens, this is your moment. The moment you stop proving, the moment you stop begging, the moment you reclaim everything you gave away. No more chasing, no more waiting. You choose who stands beside you, not the other way around. And when he realizes what he lost, when he finally understands that the woman who loved him is no longer waiting, it will be too late. Write this affirmation in the comments and claim your power. I do not chase, I choose. Let it be your truth. Let it be your strength. Let it be the fire that reminds you of who you are. And if this message lit something inside you, if it reminded you of the power you have always had, then take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you life-changing lessons, because you were never meant to beg, you were meant. Number 4. The flame that burns too bright for him was never meant to be dimmed. Have you ever noticed how he was drawn to you in the beginning, captivated by your energy, mesmerized by your presence, addicted to the way you made him feel? And then, just as quickly as he admired your fire, he started to pull away. Suddenly, you were too much, too passionate, too intense, too everything. He wanted the warmth, but not the heat. He wanted the light, but not the flame. And now, you sit there wondering, Was it you? Were you the problem? Did you burn too bright? Number. The problem was never you. The problem was that he was never meant to hold something as powerful as you. Some men are drawn to the fire, but only a few can stand in its presence without shrinking. You were never meant to be dimmed for someone who couldn't handle your brilliance. You were meant to rise, to glow, to burn with the same intensity that made him notice you in the first place. But here's the truth. If he couldn't stand the fire, then he was never worthy of its warmth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." That is what you must become, a fire that turns pain into power, heartbreak into transformation, rejection into a throne. Because you were never meant to shrink. You were never meant to make yourself smaller just so he could feel bigger. Think of the sun. The sun does not dim its light just because some cannot bear its heat. It shines regardless. It rises every single day without permission, without hesitation. And those who cannot handle it? They find shade, they hide, they look away. But the sun does not care. It was born to burn, and so were you. If he could not stand in your light, then let him walk away. If he needed you to be less, to tone yourself down, to quiet your voice, then he was never strong enough to be beside you in the first place. You have spent too long trying to make yourself fit into his world. You have spent too long waiting for him to realize your worth, to see what he had, to finally appreciate what was standing right in front of him. But here's the reality. A man who truly values you will never ask you to shrink for his comfort. He will never make you feel like your passion is a burden. He will never treat your love as something he can take for granted. And if he did, then your fire was never the problem. His inability to handle it was. But now you have a choice. You can keep waiting, keep explaining, keep trying to convince him to see what he lost. Or you can step into your power, embrace the fire that has always been inside you, and walk away without looking back. Because the woman who knows her worth never begs for love. She commands it. The moment you stop proving, the moment you stop chasing, the moment you own your fire instead of hiding it, that is the moment everything shifts. And when he finally realizes what he had, when he finally sees that the warmth he once ignored is now out of reach, it will be too late, because you won't be there anymore. You will have already become something greater, a woman untamed, unstoppable, unshaken. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. My fire is my power. I will never dim it for anyone. Let this be the moment you reclaim everything that was always yours. Let this be the day you stop apologizing for your strength. The world is waiting for your fire, so burn, glow, rise. And if this message lit something inside you, if it reminded you of who you are, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the lessons, the power, and the truth you need to step into your highest self. Together we rise. Together we reign. Now go and let your fire consume everything that once tried to hold you back. Number 5. Your energy is your currency. Stop giving it away for free. Have you ever felt completely drained, like you gave everything, your time, your emotions, your love, only to be left with nothing? You poured your energy into him, hoping he would see your worth, hoping he would appreciate you. But he didn't. Instead, he took it, enjoyed it, and never once thought about what it cost you. And now, you're the one left exhausted, overthinking, wondering what went wrong. But here's the truth. Your energy is your currency, and you have been giving it away for free. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And yet, your thoughts have been consumed by him. You've spent hours thinking about what he's doing, why he's distant, why he doesn't appreciate you the way you deserve. But what if you redirected that energy? What if, instead of spending your power on a man who doesn't value it, you invested it in yourself? Because the moment you do, everything changes. Imagine a river flowing endlessly, giving water to everything in its path. But what happens when the river gives too much, when it has nothing left? It dries up. It disappears. And that is exactly what happens when you keep giving your energy to a man who does not return it. You empty yourself trying to keep him satisfied, while he takes and takes without a second thought. But, queens, a river does not beg the land to appreciate its water. It does not chase after those who take it for granted. It simply flows where it is valued. And that is exactly what you must do. You think if you just give a little more, try a little harder, stay a little longer, he will finally see you. But he won't. Because a man does not value what he does not have to work for. He does not cherish what is handed to him without effort. And the harder you try, the less he respects what you offer. That is the brutal truth. A woman who gives without boundaries is a woman who is taken for granted. But a woman who knows her worth, who knows her energy is priceless, is a woman who becomes unforgettable. You have spent too long overthinking his actions, waiting for his messages, excusing his neglect. But the moment you stop giving him your energy, the moment you pull back, he will feel it. He will wonder why your texts have stopped, why your attention is no longer on him, why the energy he once took for granted is suddenly gone. And that is when he will start to question everything. Because nothing haunts a man more than the woman who once adored him, but now moves as if he doesn't exist. This is where everything shifts. This is where you stop begging to be seen and start making yourself the priority. You are not an endless source of love for a man who refuses to return it. You are not a free well of attention for a man who only takes. Your energy is sacred, and it is time to guard it like the priceless treasure it is. Now, step into your power. No more chasing, no more proving, no more waiting. A queen does not spend her energy on a man who does not deserve it. She invests in herself, in her growth, in her peace. And when she does, the whole world shifts to match her worth. Let him wonder. Let him feel your absence. Let him realize too late that what he had was something no other woman will ever give him again. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. My energy is priceless. I will not give it away for free. Let the world know that you are done wasting your power on the unworthy. And if this message spoke to your soul, if it reminded you of the strength that has always been inside you, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here to bring you life-changing lessons because you were never meant to beg. You were meant to reign. Number 6. If he is comfortable losing you, then let him go without a fight. Have you ever wondered why you are fighting so hard for someone who seems perfectly fine letting you go? Why you cry, why you explain, why you give everything while he stands there, unmoved, unbothered, indifferent. It feels like you are holding on to something that is slipping through your fingers, like the harder you try, the less he cares. But here's the truth. If he is comfortable losing you, then let him go without a fight. Because the moment you stop fighting for him, you start fighting for yourself. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is what detachment is. This is where your true power lies. You cannot control his choices, his actions, his indifference. But you can control how you respond. You can decide that your worth is not something to be debated, not something to be earned, not something to be proven. You are either valued or you are not. And if he is willing to risk losing you, then he has already made his choice. Now, it's time for you to make yours. Imagine holding onto a rope that is burning your hands. You keep gripping, keep pulling, believing that if you just hold on a little longer, things will change. But the pain only grows. The rope only cuts deeper. The scars only become more permanent. And then in a single moment of clarity, you let go. The pain stops. The weight lifts. The rope falls from your hands, and suddenly you realize you were hurting yourself more by holding on than you ever would have by walking away. That is what happens when you release the man who does not fear losing you. The suffering is not in the loss, it is in the attachment. The moment you let go, you reclaim your freedom, you reclaim your peace. And that is when everything shifts. Because now he is the one who must live with the silence. He is the one who must wonder what happened. He is the one who must face the reality that the woman who once gave him everything has now given him nothing. And that emptiness, that absence, that is what he will remember. You do not need to fight to be chosen. You do not need to beg to be seen. Love that is real does not put you in a position where you must convince him to care. Love does not make you question your worth, does not leave you hanging, does not make you feel like you are chasing a ghost. If he does not see you when you are standing in front of him, he does not deserve to see you at all. And the moment you accept that truth, you become untouchable. A queen does not lower her crown for a man who does not recognize her power. She does not stand outside a closed door, knocking, waiting, hoping for someone to let her in. She turns around and walks away with grace, with dignity, with unshakable confidence. And when he finally realizes what he lost, when he finally looks back, searching for the woman he took for granted, she will be gone. Not bitter, not broken, not defeated, but thriving, radiant, unstoppable. Let him feel the absence of your love. Let him sit in the silence that was once filled with your laughter, your warmth, your effort. Let him experience what life is like without you. And if he truly values you, if he truly understands what he lost, he will come back on his own, not because you begged, but because he finally realizes he must rise to meet your worth. And if he doesn't, then you just made space for someone who will. Queens, the time for waiting is over. The time for chasing is done. The time for proving yourself to a man who does not see your value ends today. This is your moment. The moment you take back everything you gave away. The moment you stop begging, stop explaining, stop holding on to a love that is not holding on to you. The moment you rise. Write this affirmation in the comments and claim your power. If he is comfortable losing me, I am strong enough to let him go. Let this be the day you stop settling, stop shrinking, stop accepting less than what you deserve. And queens, if this message spoke to your heart, if it reminded you of the strength you have always had, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you life-changing lessons because you were never meant to beg, you were meant to reign. Number 7. A diamond never begs to be chosen. It is recognized for its worth. Have you ever seen a diamond beg to be picked? Does it lower its shine, scream for attention, or chase after the one passing by? Number A. Diamond sits in its brilliance, untouchable, unbothered, fully aware of its worth. It does not fight to be chosen, it is chosen. And yet here you are, proving yourself, waiting for him to realize your value, hoping he will finally see what was in front of him all along. But the truth is, the more you beg to be noticed, the more he looks away. The more you lower yourself, the less he values you. And the more you try to make him see your worth, the more invisible you become. Seneca once said, "If you live in harmony with nature, you will never be poor. If you live according to what others think, you will never be rich." The same goes for love. If you base your worth on his attention, his validation, his approval, you will always feel like you're not enough. But the moment you stop proving, stop waiting, stop giving your value away for free, that is the moment everything changes. Think of the rarest diamond, untouched, locked away in a vault. The world knows its worth. No one questions it, no one doubts it, no one asks whether it deserves to be valued. It simply is. But imagine if that same diamond rolled itself into the hands of every stranger, begging to be taken. Would it still be rare? Would it still be desired? Or would it be seen as just another stone, common, replaceable, unworthy of admiration? That is what happens when you chase him, when you beg, when you stay in a place where you are not appreciated. You lower your own value. You think that by holding on, by proving your love, by showing how much you care, he will wake up and realize your worth. But that is not how it works. A man will never cherish what he does not have to earn. He will not value what he thinks he can always have. And if he knows you will always be there, always forgiving, always proving, where is the urgency? Where is the fear of losing you? There is none. And that is why he takes you for granted. But here is the secret. The moment you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop waiting, the energy shifts. Suddenly, he is the one who starts wondering why you are wondering why your attention has gone elsewhere, wondering why the woman he once overlooked now feels like the greatest loss of his life. Because when something rare disappears, that is when its true value is felt. And the woman who knows her worth does not beg to be chosen. She walks away with grace, with dignity, with the confidence of a woman who is irreplaceable. This is your turning point. The moment you stop looking at him like he's the prize. The moment you realize you are the one who should be sought after, admired, cherished. Stop proving, stop explaining, stop waiting for him to see your worth. He should have seen it from the start. And if he didn't, that is his loss to live with, not yours. A queen does not kneel before a man, hoping to be loved. She does not fight for a place in his life. She does not lower her crown just to make him comfortable. She stands, unshaken, knowing that the right man will see her worth without needing to be convinced. You are that queen. You are that diamond. And the moment you believe that, the moment you step into that power, he will feel it. He will notice. He will regret. But by then, it will be too late. Because you will already be gone, too powerful to be reached, too radiant to be ignored, too strong to ever lower yourself again. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. I am the diamond. He will regret the day he overlooked me. Let the world know that you are done begging, done proving, done waiting for a love that should have been given freely. And if this message awakens something inside you, if it reminded you of your strength, then take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you life-changing lessons, because you were never meant to beg. You were meant to reign. Number 8. The woman who walks away becomes the one he can never replace. Have you ever noticed how a man only starts paying attention when you finally stop trying? When you pull away, when you go silent, when you stop chasing, suddenly he remembers you. Suddenly he realizes what he had. But when you were there, giving your all, fighting for his time, proving your love, he took you for granted. That is the brutal truth. The woman who begs is forgotten. The woman who walks away is remembered. Marcus Aurelius once said, "He who clings to a thing loses it. He who lets go gets it forever." There is no power in holding on to something that does not value you. There is no victory in chasing what is running from you. But the moment you let go, the moment you stop explaining, stop proving, stop waiting, that is when he feels it. That is when his world shifts. Because nothing is more haunting than the absence of a woman who once gave him everything but now gives him nothing. Think of a rare painting locked away in a private collection. As long as it is available, as long as it hangs there for him to admire whenever he pleases, he does not truly see its worth. He knows it is there. He assumes it will always be there. But the moment it is taken away, the moment it is sold to someone who truly cherishes it, he suddenly realizes he never really looked at it, never truly appreciated its beauty. And now, it's gone forever. That is how a man feels when a woman who once loved him without limits finally walks away. He may not say it, he may not show it, but he will feel it. You spent so much time thinking that if you loved harder, if you stayed longer, if you proved yourself enough, he would see your worth. But love does not work that way. The more you fight to be seen, the more invisible you become. The more you give, the less he values what is in his hands, because he believed you would never leave. He believed you would always be there, and that is exactly why he stopped trying. But now, you are the one walking away, not with anger, not with desperation, but with quiet, unstoppable confidence. You are done proving. You are done waiting. You are done asking him to see what he should have cherished all along. And this is where everything shifts. This is where he realizes, too late, that he lost something rare, something irreplaceable. A queen does not sit outside a closed door, knocking, waiting, hoping. She turns around and builds a castle where she is celebrated, not tolerated. And that is exactly what you are doing now. You are not begging for a place in his life. You are not lowering yourself to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. And that makes you unforgettable. There is no greater regret than the woman a man can never have again. He will look back. He will remember the way you laughed, the way you cared, the way you gave without limits. He will remember how safe he felt in your presence, how you made his world brighter. And then he will realize he can never get it back. But by then, you will already be too far ahead, too strong, too powerful, too unshakable, because you are no longer the woman who waits, who hopes, who proves. You are the woman who walks away and never looks back. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. I am the woman who walks away, and I will never be forgotten. Let the world know that you are done begging, done proving, done waiting. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the strength you have always had, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the wisdom, the power, and the truth that will set you free. Together, we rise. Together, we reign. Now go and let your absence speak louder than your words ever could.